world-renowned con and, world-renowned criminal Matthew East here with his terrible haircut, telling you about all of the terrible crimes he's committed, which are none. So I think the last time I stole something, well, I think it was when I was 8 years old. It might have been 10. And they had like this Lego set. My teacher, she had this Lego set that she brought into class. And it had these really sick cannons on it. And like, you used to pull back the thing and it would shoot out a little brick. And they were the sickest thing, man. And I just needed to have one, so I stole the cannon. I stole the cannon, and that was the last time I consciously stole something where I was like, consciously in my mind, I'm going to take this and this is now going to be my thing. I would have been 10 years old, okay? I'm not 10 years old anymore. I'm fucking breaking 30, ladies and gentlemen. But I was used as the front man for a couple of different organizations to steal money on their behalf. And once I realized that, I quit. So the first job I did that for was a man called Donald Macaskill. He had a brand called Butterfish Services, and then I worked for a brand called Care Squared Kids, which did a very similar thing. But with Donald Macaskill, he threw the biggest fucking tantrum, because like, he's a massive narcissist, and these people, they don't want to think to themselves that they're stealing money. And Donald Macaskill is he's a con man. He doesn't have any of the skills he claims to have, and he claimed he could train me. I realized he couldn't, and then I fucked off. Right? I started working for him, and I realized he was a bit of a con. I tried to work for a different company. The company that I tried to work for told him that I was interviewing at their company, and then he made me work for him again. And then later on, I realized he was a con. I tried to quit, and then he tried to make me stay again. And then eventually I did quit. And after, there was no more work for me to do. And then he complained that I wasn't working because there was no work for me to do. Right? The biggest fucking baby in the world. Like, once you work for a maniac like that, there's no getting out. And you're kind of stuck with that professionally and on your career. And I've had this fucking crazy cunt follow me throughout my career forever since, because he has delusions that he is actually competent at what he does, and then he has a say in the industry, but everyone fucking laughs at him. He's a fucking joke. Everyone fucking laughs at Donald Macaskill. Like, oh my fucking god. Like, complete comic act. And then I worked for Care Squared Kids, and there's a woman called Sarah Samuel who approved and directed all of my work, and everything went through her. I need to actually clarify, I did not jerk off on the job. My screen was recorded after I got terminated, and they caught me jerking off on my computer after I was terminated, and then they doxed that. So it actually wasn't on the job, it was after they literally terminated me. So I need to clarify that point, because I think I may have not represented that correctly. But I have been the person who's been forced into being the front man for these criminal organizations, because if you're a junior psychologist, you don't have much place in Australia, because our market has been completely taken over, and the way our society is run has been completely taken over by these criminals, particularly in the healthcare sector. And there aren't many places where you're not going to be forced into this kind of white-collar crime. Vocational rehabilitation's the most famous and long-running example of that, where they make up narratives and sell them to insurance companies to kick people off insurance payments, regardless if those narratives are true or not. It's not any form of qualitative research. They just make a case to kick a person off the payment. The person's title is psychologist. It works. And that's our modern healthcare system. It's a complete fucking con. And I've been the person who's reported it. I've been the person who's been exposed to it. I'm the person who has the most moral backbone and courage, and is probably the most pure person in this whole thing. But because I've been the person who stood up and said it, all the grit which I've been around then gets put on me. It's like, hey man, you've been around all this terrible shit, that must mean you're terrible. It's like, no, they're all around it. they're all neck deep in it. They're fucking suffocating in it. They just lack the moral courage to do anything about it. And I did something. So remember, Donald Macaskill, Complete Criminal, Sarah Samuel as well, Amanda Mazzoni, Fred Sashini. We've got an industry stacked with these criminals because we've created a set of incentives where they can thrive. Have a good evening, everyone. Healthcare in Australia is corrupt as fuck. Remember that. It's con man all the way up and down in the NDIS and vocational rehabilitation. And I was the person who started talking about it. I grew up in a very fundamentalist Christian family. Throughout my life, I've had what would some people call Protestant guilt, which is the feeling that you feel as if you are inherently worthless or inherently sinful and are in need of redemption. And sometimes I worry that comes out in my work as if I'm guilty of some terrible deed. It's not. I was religiously abused as a kid, and maybe that's why I'm a bit of a Puritan when it comes to the crimes I'm seeing. But I'm certainly not a horrific person, and people may interpret that about me. Even myself at times, very minor ethical or moral transgressions are interpreted by me as being terrible, heinous things because of this Puritan sort of aspect which I grew up with. And I don't think it was adaptive, and I don't think any child should learn that. But if you ever see me feeling looking guilty or feeling sad, that's why. I've been a fucking saint. These people are criminals, and I don't know if I need to say much more than that. Have a good evening, everyone.